Hey, all you Arizona lovers. This is the Finding Arizona podcast, episode number 412. I'm your host, Jose. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Today's episode is with Bushwood Sims. I'm very excited about this one. This one is incredible to get to know the owner and what they're about. This is golfing, but it's more than just golfing on a simulator. It is a multifaceted entertainment machine that's available for easy access and easy removal into any event space, any space in general, at a hotel or at a kind of event that is an occasional thing. It's so incredible to get a chance to speak to the owner and creator, and just someone who wanted this to be something essential for non-usable space that is just open and available, and make something fun and entertaining for all to use. So I hope you guys really enjoy this one. And just to say and give it a little heads up in context of where we're at in this in particular one, we went out over to the W Scottsdale, and this is just one of those moments where we realize it's like this is going to be one of those special occasions, because I don't know if you know or have been into a place like this where it's like music constantly going on in the background. So I have a lot of work to do as far as making sure that this sounds good, but I think it's going to be very special for you guys to check this one out, just because of where we're at location wise and what it actually pertains to on the actual content that we're getting into. So I hope that you guys enjoy this one. If you're interested in getting a hold of Bushwood Sims and just contacting them, we always put in the bio in the links below. We hope that you guys are staying connected with everyone who comes in through our door. If you are interested in connecting with them, so go do so. Click the links, let them know that you found them through us, and that'll be great, because we want to share their story. We want to make sure that they're being heard and seen, and just again having their story told, and that's what we're about here. So that's actually going to lead me into a little bit of the business side. You can hear every episode of our podcast at findingarizonapodcast.com. There you have many opportunities to go down the rabbit hole. We have a blog that you can go check out that Britt puts together personally, and make sure that it's something that is content that you want to be interested in local stuff, or just stuff as a parent, or stuff as a general user. It's just really great stuff that we put together and make sure that it's digestible for you guys to understand what we're trying to accomplish there. But on top of that, if you want to just be on the outskirts, or not outskirts, but just the daily kind of driver things, which is the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter. You'll get to know who's coming in through our doors, what we've got available to you content wise, and last but not least, if you want to go check out the vlog, which is a little bit more of the personal side of what we got going on, our family, and what we do on the regular, that's over at youtube.com/findingarizonapodcast. And I would be very much in trouble as an owner if I didn't let you guys know that we have a service arm. So we go to places like this to help you guys create content, create something beautiful, and we want to share those stories. So if you want to get to working with us, that'd be great. I would love that. And we can create things together and make sure that the story that you want to be told, and this is kind of leads into our next episode, or the upcoming episode, creating these stories are very special and unique, and it takes time to make sure that we get the right stuff. So I hope that you guys do want to work with us and make sure that it's done right and proper for you guys, so that you, the owner or the creator or someone in charge, does know that someone cares enough to make sure that you guys look good. So check out our service arm. It's called the Found House, and we hope to create with you guys in the future. And that'll lead into a little bit of what's going on this summer. There's a lot of things going on. Little guy has a lot of birthday parties that we've already been to, but also upcoming birthday parties that we're going to. Content wise or event wise, there's a lot of things going on with restaurants. We just the Phoenix area has their very first, I believe, Hispanic James Beard award-winning restaurant. So I hope that you guys are staying in touch with that and making sure that you guys are being great community builders and community connectors. And that means going and participating at these different events, meeting new people, taking an opportunity to take a chance on something new. So that being said, I hope you guys send us an email so that we can build a community corkboard that is consistent and lovable and fun and local. That's findingarizonapodcast@gmail.com. I hope to see you guys in the future in person, and that'll just get us right into this episode number 412 with Bushwood Sims. I will catch you on the next one. Always kisses, hugs, and belly rubs to our four-legged friends. See you later. Score big with SeatGeek. Whether it's concerts, sports, or live events, SeatGeek has you covered. Use code FIGHTINGArizona to get a fantastic $20 discount on your SeatGeek tickets. Catch your favorite live events hassle-free with extra savings. Visit SeatGeek.com and make every experience unforgettable. Welcome back, everybody, to the Finding Arizona podcast. I'm your host, Jose. We bring in fantastic guests every week, and today's no different. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to introduce you the owner behind Bushwood Sims, right here. Why don't you introduce yourself first, and then I will kind of ask the questions that we ask everyone. Before I forget, Nicholas, I didn't even get a chance to say your first name, but go ahead and introduce yourself, Nicholas.
Yeah, I'm Nicholas Russo. I'm the founder and president of Bushwood Sims.
And I want to say thank you again for allowing us to kind of pick your brain here for a little bit. And I know how incredible and in-depth some of this stuff can get, but I'd love to just get the question that we usually ask everyone, which is, can you give us a little bit of your origin story and just how this all came to be?
Sure. Well, my background was a career in hospitality, working with companies like Starwood Hotels and Marriott Hotels.
Nice.
So when it came time to think of something new to do with my career, Bushwood was what I came up with because I knew that there were millions of square feet of hotel space out there that go unused.
Yes.
During all times of year.
Nice.
So I knew that if we could put together a product that was worth activating, hotels would not only be attracted to activating their space with it, but also their guests would be activating and using it.
Awesome. That's, I think, one of the first things that I realized that came from our little background into your website and just kind of the first couple of things that pop up for the benefits of what this entails. And one of the other things that kind of you find in your website is, one, the kind of easiness of setup and breakdown of something like this.
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit more of, kind of the background of how something like this comes to be and just how you can set it up and break it down?
Absolutely. Well, we have two customers at Bushwood. The hotel is our customer,
nice,
as well as their guests.
Okay.
So we try to make the experience flawless for both. So when it came to the hotel side, this is built, a Bushwood Sim is built with the purpose of not having to touch a single wall or a single ceiling. So we don't have to damage any type of, space that they might have. There's no repairs to be done after we left.
Okay.
If they wanted to put us out in an event tent on a tennis court or in the middle of a huge ballroom, all we need to do is plug in the enclosure because it's all included.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Now, was that something that was like R&D? You guys found a way to like make that happen, or was that just something that really just was the first get-go iteration?
That was the original vision, but it did take us about 3 months of R&D kind of to figure out the best build out to do it.
Nice. And so from your early beginnings and just the kind of hotel and just being a part of that kind of arena of work, I understand that you probably saw the need there for something to be put in and installed like that. I would love to kind of understand where the golf and influence of hunting, there's a shooting part to this as well, where that came from.
Well, golf simulators are nothing new. There's a lot of existing businesses like that now. But as you know, Scottsdale, Arizona is a golf mecca.
Yeah.
So there's hundreds of courses around. What better way to kind of embrace the golf community than to give them a nice indoor, version of it to experience, which you can do in a golf simulator. And what better place than somewhere like a Marriott Hotel, W Scottsdale, or any other locations in the future that have space that they want to activate it for their customers to use.
That's very like one of those answers, like easy answer, but it's like it probably would have never dawned on anyone just to kind of have that installed there from the get-go. So I'm always kind of curious too, because like some people are influenced by what they do on the daily. On like, are you a big golfer? Are you an avid sports guy?
No, I wouldn't say I'm a big golfer. I used to golf a lot earlier in my career, but I wouldn't say I'm a golfer enough to, that's what drove me to do it more than it was a good activation for the type of space.
Gotcha.
The room we're in right now is usually for banquet storage, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
So this is an exact example of a hotel that had a pool house or a space of anywhere from 900 to 1,200 square feet where we could put one or two of these full-size luxury simulators in. Both of which do golf. And then as you pointed out, we also came across another company that did hunting simulators as well. And, at first you think when you hear hunting simulator, like from our childhood duck hunt. But it is definitely adult duck hunt where you're in a simulator more than a game. Where you're taking real target practice. You are hunting live game type of a thing. It cuts down on any of the gore. There's no blood or anything like that. But you do have real animals to shoot: bears, moose, wild boar, birds of all kinds of nature. So there's something a little bit for everyone to do, because we knew golf is a very, it's a very challenging sport for most people. It's not something that can really usually easily be taken up. But someone who can do a little bit of target hunting and practice shooting can kind of pick it up pretty quick. So
provide variety, right?
It was variety so that a lot of people can be engaged.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now we're bringing up kind of the opportunities that come from having these many pieces to the Sims. And I'd love to kind of get back to the golf part. And you brought up, the different varieties of game that you can hunt. But I imagine that with something like this, there's different types of courses and all sorts of like I imagine you can run the ones that are well known here in the Valley, but also all around the world as well.
We can. We have a selection from over 750 golf courses around the world.
Nice.
That includes everywhere from local TPC Scottsdale, where we can pull up, the loudest hole in golf with the 16th. The simulator will even boo at you if you don't make it onto the green.
That's awesome.
Cheers you on if you do. But yes, we have quite a variety. Most of the people we've had come in who think of certain courses they'd always wanted to play, we usually have quite a number of the ones. We don't have every course, but we do have quite a number of the high, name ones and most popular.
So that makes me want to ask, is that something that you have to get copyrights or anything like that with the actual courses?
Well, because of the software that we use, it goes through that software, and it's an open source software to where anyone can design a course. So while we're not designing them and providing them, the software that we've licensed for commercial use does.
Got it. Well, it's really great though, that the opportunity to again be able to practice or even challenge yourself by actually going through the 18 holes, or just have that chance to do so. It's always kind of fascinating, because I'll be honest, I'm not great at golf, but I've always wanted to, check out Augusta and give it a shot, like any other good willing American.
You could do that at Bushwood Sim.
Awesome. So I'd love to just kind of get into a little bit of the personal side too, because this is a lot to do with what we do here on the podcast. Is just give me a little bit of kind of, you brought up that you're not really a golfer, but what joy is the real passion for you in this? Is it the kind of technology and entertainment side, or is it just like you said, the hotel and being able to curate something for them?
No, it definitely is more on the latter. The passion for me is providing 5-star experiences for hotel guests. The passion for me is a customer walking away and feeling like they had a great experience for a good value, because I think that's really hard to find today. So that's kind of the driven, kind of the vision behind it that drives me, is to provide that experience.
Cool.
In this case, it just so happens to be golf and hunting and something really cool.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
It's easy to piggyback on something like that.
Yeah.
But it's really the process of giving the experience.
Awesome. Well, the other aspect of it too is I'd love to get what you do on the regular to kind of keep Bushwood Sims on floating above a lot of these other simulators, and how you kind of break out your whole week. I mean, I imagine that you're not here in this space all the time. How does one with a simulator company have to do, or is it seeking leads, or is it something else that you kind of regularly keep process of your whole week?
Well, I would say first it is spending all of your time in the actual space.
Okay,
because
nice.
you need to learn with this type of an environment, with a hotel environment, it can change from one hotel to another, even though you're in the same street.
Okay.
So being in the space at first is key if you're going to do a type of simulator business like this, because you have to learn what type of demographic and customer you have.
Yeah.
Once you get past that, it's really about tailoring, as I was mentioning before, that great experience then just sometimes needs to be tailored for that demographic.
Got it.
So whether it is a party pool central type of environment here at the W Scottsdale, or if it's somewhere like a downtown urban property, more of a convention center style type of property. While those are two hotels, those are two completely different type of demographic of guests.
Sure.
So Bushwood has been thought of trying to tailor towards multiple types of guests like that, whether you are at the W Scottsdale or at a downtown type of convention property.
Perfect. I think that's a really admirable way of going about it too, because like you said, the tailor-made process is really having to do with being hands-on.
Yes.
And that's really incredible that you're providing that service on that day-to-day basis. And one of the things that you brought up is trying to bring light to giving everyone that opportunity. And something that my better half got to experience is the kind of getting in and actually testing it out herself.
Yes.
And she's actually a left-handed individual.
Yes.
And so she came and told me about the story of like her testing it out and providing kind of a new opportunity for you guys to realize like not everyone's right-handed. There are lefties.
Right. They say that 5% of golfers are left-handed, so they are out there.
Yeah.
1 in every 20, give or take. But we are able to accommodate for right and left-handed golfers.
Awesome.
The way that the Bushwood Sim was developed was for that in mind.
Okay.
We have an overhead kind of launch monitor instead of one that normally goes on the ground.
Okay.
That can't be switched back and forth.
Yeah.
So because of that, it does invite both right and left-handers to come experience Bushwood. And if you don't have your own clubs, we also have clubs free to use.
Sweet.
By True Spec Golf. They provided wonderful clubs for both right-handers and left-handers to use. So don't feel that you are required to have your own clubs to visit a Bushwood Sim.
That's very, very enlightening and very great that you have an opportunity to not only provide for right, but also left-handed members as well.
Yes.
I think the other process that I'd love to just get to know, because you brought up the overhead here, is understanding what goes into something like this as well. Like, because I see behind you, there is a very intense computer, but I'd love to just get a breakdown of how all of it comes together.
Sure. Well, what we found when we were doing our research on simulators is there's 5 major components to a simulator, from the enclosure to your turf to your projector, the computer, the software that runs the whole thing.
Yeah.
And what we found is that most businesses will invest in 2 or 3 of those 5 things, and then on the other ones sometimes, go more economical routes.
Okay.
Well, with the Bushwood simulator, we went high end for all 5.
Okay, wow.
So from our launch monitor, which is by Unicore, which is a fantastic ceiling mounted launch monitor,
Nice.
to our gaming computer made by a local gaming computer company, that's really to give you the best type of experience, so that when you in golf, for example, hit the golf ball, by the time it hits the screen, it's already flying on the screen because it's processing so quickly.
Yeah.
A lot of times you can have anywhere between a 2 and 5 second delay before you see the ball start to go.
Yeah.
So it's just the little touches like that,
For sure.
really doing the best we could in all 5 of those categories to give that luxury experience.
That's awesome. And that's what makes it, again, a 5-star experience as
Exactly.
well. I think, too, can you give us a little bit about the actual gear for the hunting part as well?
Well, the gear for the hunting, it's by Simway Hunt.
Yeah.
And they're a company that's out of Europe that developed this. They're very lifelike rifles and handguns so that you have the same weights as you would with the normal one.
Oh, okay.
There is no ammunition of any kind or recoil type of thing. It's all using IR technology and infrared kind of lighting to do that. But you get the entire feel of it. I assure you, after a few minutes, you're a little fatigued.
Yeah.
The shoulders start
Especially
to
with
burn
the
a little
weight,
bit.
the weight
of it.
there.
It's a real experience.
Right.
And the simulation part as well it's fun, but it's not always easy because it is like real hunting.
Yes.
You actually have to hit the target for it to go down. It keeps track of your shots and everything. It tells you at the end of your round your accuracy, how many shots you took, how many lethal shots you had, how many misses you had.
Oh, nice.
It really tracks everything for you.
Yeah, that was one thing I brought up with. So I have a younger brother, and we talk about like the things that I do on here for the podcast. And one of the things that I brought up to him about this simulator is, I'm not a very golf oriented person. One of the drawbacks for me is just being in 108, 110 degree weather for like 3 hours out of the day, and even 3+ hours depending on how much you like golf. And so that it was joyful to me to be able to say, hey, look, I'd love to go to like I said, Augusta and hit a few balls and get some fun out of it. And so something like this was very much up my alley of like, this is incredible, but I don't know how much intensity or how much it's going to feel like the real thing. And just being here, sitting here, and what you've brought up, I have no doubt that I'm going to get almost the full experience.
You get immersed. You really do. Outside of being at the physical location in real life, it is very immersive. The designers of the golf courses have gone to great detail to make sure they capture it to where as if you were there yourself. And as we have found out from our first week of being opening, the launch monitor is very frustratingly accurate. So it's not like coming in here, golf's going to be much easier.
Yes.
It's actually, it's not the opposite. It's not harder, but it is on par with a real golf experience.
Okay.
When you get done with a full round, you've hit anywhere between 80 to 100 shots. It's going to feel like a normal golf workout.
Yeah.
But to touch on kind of what you brought up, we are getting a lot of people tell us that, rounds of golf have gotten to be so long now because golf has gotten so popular again.
Yes.
So 4 to 5 hour rounds are becoming normal again.
Yes.
To get through in a 3 hour round, you're probably playing early in the morning before most people are up already.
Yep.
So, and we're also finding with a certain demographic, with an age demographic, a lot of people are starting to turn over to simulator golf because it's easier on the body.
Yeah. Okay.
They don't have to go out actually walking or playing in the heat for 5 hours straight.
That's a good way to put it too.
So it's really kind of a turn we're seeing there where people are starting to enjoy simulator golf more. And make no mistake, simulator golf is picking up steam in the sense of there are worldwide leagues. Yeah. There are leagues that literally play the course where the PGA Tour is at this week. So you get the whole immersive experience. So
trust me, I have no doubt that especially when it comes to simulators in general, I've seen a couple of brick and mortar buildings that are just solely dedicated to having parties come in and use their simulators.
Like VR
simulator,
exactly. Absolutely.
And so now we're getting into kind of the future of what Bushwood could be and getting into the VR stuff and some of the future technologies like wearables and stuff like that. I'd love to get your take on what excites you or what possibilities that you're looking into to help upgrade into those kind of realms for Bushwood.
Well, luckily, the technologies these have existed for some time now, but areas that we're looking at, and it depends on kind of the hotel demographic that we would be going to next. For example, where we're at now, W Scottsdale is 21 and over.
Okay.
So the VR headset gaming wasn't going to be a really good fit here as much as hunting and golf.
Okay.
But going to more of a family resort or an urban type of property in the future, that would afford us more different options. We've looked at sporting options, kicking, throwing a football into the screen, interactive,
nice,
hockey, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So
now you're speaking her
those
language.
are really based off of the type of demographics that we assume are going to have at that hotel.
Yeah, and again, you're talking about a 5-star Taylor experience. So you even start to look at with here in the Valley, we have now things like the NCAA coming in and doing their fans event it's located downtown in Phoenix, the Phoenix Convention Center, and Taylor making, like you said, those future opportunities for the event to have simulations like that as well, and just fitting yourself into those opportunities.
Absolutely.
One thing I'd also say is that eSports is becoming more and more popular.
Yes.
So you start to see dedicated areas like hotels and other convention areas where it's just solely dedicated to those eSports.
Exactly.
And so I think you guys are taking full opportunity of those revenue streams. Absolutely. So I kind of, again, we talked about the future stuff. We talked about opportunities and your past a little bit. I always kind of lean towards the goals for the company and what you are looking for, especially as the founder and owner and things like that, what our audience can help you with, or even just in general goals for your team.
Sure. One of our biggest goals with this being our pilot residency was to establish proof of concept.
Okay.
One, that the activation idea of golf and hunt was accepted and, adopted by the people we had in.
Yeah.
And over the last week, we've had tremendous feedback on how we used the space, how we did the build out.
Yeah.
So those are very validating, very positive feedback. Moving forward, we're looking at it as, where do we go next?
Absolutely.
Right now we're at the W Scottsdale for the summer through Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
Which, as you can imagine, is a completely different demographic than most hotels.
Yeah.
But as we are here, we've already had a few people start to approach us on what would it look like possibly to activate their space.
Okay.
So as we move into it over the course of this summer, obviously running Bushwood at W is a priority, and at the same time, where our winter residency is going to be once we're done here.
That's awesome.
So that's probably our biggest goal, was to establish proof of concept and to find our next home, so we get onto a good rotation around the Valley.
Now, I know you brought up having the clientele come in and experience it and getting some other fans and fanatics in here. What's been kind of your favorite comment to hear about what you guys have to offer?
My favorite thing to hear is from people who are experienced with simulators, and they say this is one of the best simulator experiences that they've had.
Awesome.
Like I said, golf simulating isn't anything new, but doing it in kind of this way, putting all of the best practices together in one, is new. So I like hearing that feedback, that someone who's very familiar with this goes, wow, you really did. The golf matting is quality. You didn't go, cheap on golf, the mats. Because after some time, your elbows and your knees on a golf mat can start to hurt if it's not cushioned the right way. If it's just a piece of carpet on the ground, it could become quite an issue. So there are bodily, issues with sim golf as well, just like in real world golf, just different types like that.
Gotcha.
People who notice the quality of the projector and the picture and crispness of it being a 4K laser instead of 1080p type of thing.
Nice.
So really kind of those attention to detail comments we love.
I love that. I mean, just in the sense of like the grass itself that's being provided. As a landscape architect myself, I have very much hands-on experience with artificial turf and just what it can be, and
both the economic, but also the high end as well.
You've seen both sides.
Yeah, I've seen both sides. And I can tell you, you're absolutely right. This is some great quality stuff that you got here. So we're reaching the end here, and I appreciate you giving us your goals and everything like that. My final question would have to be just the excitement from you and your team, and just kind of like the overall feeling from this past couple of weeks, what you guys have done here.
Well, we had such a great media week last week. Every day of the week last week, we had influencers from Arizona, golf influencers, lifestyle influencers like yourself. And then on one day, we had all local media come, all the papers, all the news channels. And overall, it was a great welcoming to like the idea.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, it's extremely exciting and very scary as well coming into it. As entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
Absolutely.
Being a founder usually means you just sign the front of checks, not the back of checks. Yep. So going into it, knowing that, getting all that type of feedback has been the thing kind of keeping us going and keeping us motivated, just understanding that we do have something here. It's been a good fuel for us.
Well, I appreciate your time, Nicholas, and I leave the end portion for you to kind of go ahead and promote where people can find you, any future endeavors or events that you guys are going to be at. Go ahead and shout that out and take it away.
Well, we are Bushwood Sims at W Scottsdale. You can find us online at bushwoodsims.com, where you can book any one of a number type of rates we have available during the week and during the summer. We take reservations up to 30 days in advance. And those are all open now, and you can find us on Instagram and all of our handles at Bushwood Sims, and that's our handle on most of the platforms.
Thank you so much. And
thank you.
I really do appreciate it, because again, I hopefully will be able to experience this for myself.
Absolutely.
I just also want to say, again, I'm an avid fan when it comes to bringing technology and entertainment together for a special custom experience like this. And I think that you guys are tailor-made for something as beautiful as, being in this space, but also other event spaces as well. And so I wish you nothing but the best of luck with you and your team. And I have no doubt that it's going to be very fun for everyone.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And then before we go, you can hear every episode of our podcast at findingarizonapodcast.com. All of our social media handles under Finding Arizona Podcast. And last but not least, we always say kisses, hugs, and belly rubs to our four-legged friends. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.